Hello, welcome to Good Games Well Played, episode 221. I'm Clint, aka JCM. With us this week is Isley
Yo.
and Messiah.
Hello.
And we have small things to go over here along with the Nintendo Direct that happened this week. Not a really big Nintendo Direct. It was a lot of like, hey, here's a lot of third-party stuff coming to the console. We're celebrating Mario and yada yada, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But first, I did see that FF7 Remake Intergrade not only set a Switch 2 date, but also Xbox release date as well. They're going to be coming to those platforms on January 22nd, 2026. They're also coming with some Magic cards in the pre-orders, I guess. 'Cause I'm assuming they're the Magic the Gathering, uh, Final Fantasy crossover cards they had.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a physical version of if you pre-order the physical version, you get those little Final Fantasy play boosters, so you have a chance of getting the stuff. You know, I didn't realize they also did like back in the day, they did like a lot of these crossovers, but I didn't realize when they did them for a lot of them, like they did Warhammer a couple years ago. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I had a friend from high school reach out a while back and he's like, hey, yeah, talking about stuff. He's like, oh, we should play Magic sometime with another friend from high school, just moved back to the area. And then, I was like, "I don't really have any of my Magic cards." I think I have, like, 1 deck I kept when I sold them all. But I was looking, I was like, "Oh, there's Warhammer Magic cards." And I was like, "Oh, but they're only Commander decks." And I'm like, "What the hell's
Mm-hmm.
Commander?" It's like, "Oh, Commander is its own thing." I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, never mind." Plus, they're like, if I want one now, it's like hundreds of dollars, and I'm like, no thanks."
It's
But
wild to me how I don't feel like Magic is necessarily having like a full-on resurgence, but how generally like people know what it is again. And it's just integrated into everything. Like there's Magic versions of fucking everything now. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's the Final Fantasy one, but I went down this rabbit hole of like there's Marvel Magic cards. There's like
mhm.
every type of goddamn Magic card now. I had no idea they made so many like not spin-offs, but weird playable versions.
Like
Yeah, and I
collaboration cards.
I guess the reason they would do Commander is it's easier to do. Like, because you don't have duplicates of cards like you can in a regular Magic the Gathering decks. It's like, okay, you make the commander, you have that card, can be whatever character, yada yada, and then you just have a big deck full of cards that are all unique, and you don't have to worry about having because the game's not designed around a standard deck. And I'm like, okay, it's easier to do a specialized deck just for that because it's a different rule set versus like, okay, if we're gonna make this, then people are gonna want to collect like, 4 versions of this thing because it's really good and yada yada, and you have to deal with, like especially with, like, limited editions, like, just do the commander, then you only have to worry about 1. You don't need extra cards, you just need the deck, and that's complete. And because you don't do duplicates, it's like you're one and done.
Mm-hmm.
Probably easier to balance for as well, but yeah, saw that. Also saw that apparently so I used to play, Fortnite way back in the day, and one of the issues I always had with and it wasn't just Fortnite specific, but the V-Bucks and a lot of digital currencies for things in a lot of battle royales are like the stuff that you buy in the store typically isn't the exact amount that you have to buy bundled of the digital currencies. Like, V-Bucks, like always you buy 500, 1,000, 2,000. The more you buy, the cheaper you get the discount. It's like, but the things you're buying aren't in those exact quantities. So it's like, oh, it's 1,200 V-Bucks for this outfit. So you have to buy 2,000 back in the day. And
Mm-hmm.
that happened to a lot of things that have virtual currencies. But they're finally making it now to where it's like you don't have to buy the bundles. You can just buy the exact amount you need for that item. I'm like, thank you. So, I mean, they to pass me. I don't play the game anymore, but it's like about damn time. It's like, why did it take so long to fucking do that, man?
I
But
feel like
I
it's
mean,
always when stuff does that. I have this problem with like food apps. Starbucks does this shit too, where it's like you used to not be able to like just buy a drink. You had to like load the card, but you could only load the card with like $15 or $20. So it's
mhm.
like you always have this remaining money that they just have and you can't use it unless you refill it more. But that just makes me not want to buy the things. I feel like with like the eShop, I buy things all the time because it just lets me buy it digital
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just people are like, oh, I'll just load it with $20 and then whatever's there is there next time I buy something. But I'm just like, I don't want to put $20 on here because I'm not going to use it all. I'm more
I
likely to
mean,
buy things if you just let me buy it.
I'm sure there's some study of like the cycle of like sunk cost fallacy of saying like, oh, I can load only a minimum of $5 on the Starbucks card, but the average drink is more than $5. So then you end up with $3 left over after you load 10. And then you're
Hmm.
like, oh, well, now I have $3. I need to load $5 more in order to get a second drink. Like it must
Yeah.
balance out in the end or be profitable for them in the end because so many fucking companies do it and I hate it.
Yeah, there was a report, years I went probably like a decade ago about like the amount of money that people don't spend on gift cards that just after they expire, they just roll back to the companies, and it's like a ton of money. It's like
Mhm.
they're getting money because you obviously you pay for the gift card like 20 bucks, 20 bucks. So it's like okay, but then if they're not, you bought it for 20, but then if they only spend 17, the company's getting $3 back. So it's like they made a profit off of gift
Yeah,
cards.
it's
Uh,
annoying.
which is yeah, which I think is why they were pushing. I don't know if it went through, but I know there was like a push to be like, no, you can't have expired gift cards anymore. Maybe it failed or something in legislation or whatever. I don't know, but I know there's like a push out of like this should be against the rules. And usually, what I end up doing is just being like, I'm going to do a split payment, just take the balance of this gift card, and then I'll just put the rest on my card. But yeah, like when our work had a little like marketplace, we had a food marketplace we added to our break room, and when it first got put in, you could only load up a it was like Avanti Market was the name of the brand, and you had to get a card, and you had to load money onto your like you're saying for Starbucks, you had to load money onto your card, and you couldn't pay with a credit card. You had to pay
Hold on.
which is so
Your work tried implementing this policy for its employees? That's some like diabolical shit right there.
no, it was like a thing. It's like, "Hey, we're gonna bring in our break room, we're gonna have this, concession stand thing you want. You can buy a bunch of snacks, drinks, pre-made meals, and they get restocked." It's a third-party vendor. They come in and stock the thing, and it's like, you don't have to do it, but it's like, if you don't wanna go to the lunch truck, the restaurants, bring your own thing, like, you have the option to buy all this stuff. Like, we had standard soda machines and a vending machine, but, like, this is like, hey, it's way more. Like, there's actual lunch and food, and there's ice cream, frozen burritos, stuff like that, like a big thing. It's like, if you want to use it, you can. You don't have to. But you had to it was the company's policy, Avanti, not my company's policy, that you in order to use their vending machines, you had to load up their card. But I'm like, okay, but you have to scan your card to load the card. And I'm like, and then eventually they stopped it. It took a while, a couple months, but eventually like, okay, now you can pay with your card, but there will be like the standard processing fee that usually every other company eats. They still hit you with that, small processing fee. So
Yummy.
yeah, so you no longer need the card. I don't use them a whole lot, but it was like a nice to have kind of situation. It's like, oh, if I forgot lunch, if I don't want to go to lunch truck, it's like, okay, I'll get this or yada yada. The downside was eventually they got rid of the vending machines that were in the other building. And so it's like, okay. I mean, not which is like I get it. I didn't carry cash around me and because they weren't credit card vending machines. They're like the old school, you need cash or coin. Um, I'm like, "Okay, I don't carry cash." It's like, "That's fine, they're going away," but it's like, I have to if I get them, I have to get this. That was expanded selection of stuff, obviously, but yeah, it was, interesting situation there for a while where it's like, "Yeah, you have to use our card." It's like, "Okay." But yeah.
Weird.
But the good thing though is because it's Epic Games, like, they're putting not just Fortnite, but it'll be Rocket League and Fall Guys as well since they have all those. So it's like, okay, hopefully this means that all the anybody else that has virtual currencies will also adopt this policy.
Mhm.
So, I did see a bit here about Neil Druckmann basically saying that Intergalactic: The Heritage of Prophet's like the studio's biggest and probably the most expensive game they've ever made and most ambitious. And I'm like, yeah, I could see it. I mean, like every time you guys make something new, it's always like bigger than the last thing. And you guys
Mhm.
like with your quality of stuff that you do, it's probably I can imagine it. It's gonna be crazy whenever it finally comes out.
Have
It's
they
like I
released any information on like gameplay for it yet or what they're actually doing? I,
nope,
I saw like the initial trailer, but I feel like people are assuming it's going to be a like RPG type game, but we haven't actually heard that.
nope. It's just been all quiet on the Western Front with those after the announcement. It's like, which I can understand, like if you're not like super far along, and plus Neil was doing Last of Season 2, so who knows what his time split between managing the game. Obviously, he doesn't need to be there for the game to be created, but like who knows what stage they're probably in a stage where it's like it was easier for him to be like away to review things. It was easier to do remote versus now he's stepping away from Season 3 so he can actually focus on the game. It's like okay, now they're probably in full on proper production where he has to be there for everyday meetings with all the different departments and what have you to make sure things are going smoothly. But yeah, no updates on that yet. I mean, Sony's also focusing on Ghost of Yotei, which comes out soon, and they're all that stuff, so they don't really want to like pull away from a game that's going to be coming out in a short time. That was always a an issue you have like, oh, we have a big game coming,
Yeah.
and then you talk about something that's people are excited for, but then you like it gets overshadowed by the other big thing. It's like, well, we want to kind of focus the marketing push on the thing that's coming, not something else. So maybe once Ghost of Yotei's out, because I imagine too, they probably want to show Wolverine next. I mean, there's rumors that they'll show Wolverine later this year, like in a proper like showcase, like PlayStation State of Play, all about Wolverine. But because I feel like that's got to be further along than Intergalactic.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't heard anything about Wolverine in a long time.
Yeah,
I
there
was
was like the
excited about that, but I think it was announced like 5 years ago or something.
I don't know if it was 5, but a few years ago, yeah, and I know there was, like, a leak, but it was, like, clearly I didn't watch it, but everybody that talked about it who did watch it, they said it's, like, obviously just early footage, yada, yada, so, like, it doesn't look well. It's like, yeah, well, you'd expect it not to look super well because it's early. So
Mhm.
I know there's that leak. And then I've heard people say that people who have played the game now are saying, like, it's awesome, but, they're probably, breaking NDA, obviously, talking about that. And then aside from that, trying to think if there's anything else that was big. I did see a funny article. So, Silksong finally came out, and then IGN had an article saying, with Hollow Knight Silksong finally released, Nintendo Direct viewers are looking for a new game to hope for and then get disappointed over.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny. I was like, it read like a hard drive article or something. It's like, yep, you gotta find something else. Silksong 2?
Now that
But
Silksong's
It's
out, everybody has to go back to, what are they doing? GTA 6 or Oblivion? No,
I was gonna say
Elder
no, not
Scrolls.
Oblivion. Yeah. I was gonna
yeah.
say it's, a Zelda game for Switch 2, and yeah, whatever the next Fallout or Elder Scrolls game is.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought it was amusing. But yeah, we did have a well, before we get into Nintendo Direct, the last was that so Hollow Knight Silksong, a lot of people are having some trouble with the early game, and they did just release a patch. It went live on PC this week, and then it just rolled out to consoles yesterday. At least it did for PlayStation. I'm assuming it'll be rolling out to Switch and Xbox around the same time. But where essentially they kind of nerfed two early game boss fights, and then they also kind of tweaked some of the rosary rewards you get from the environmental rosary spots. They also reduced, like, some, bench costs, because you have to pay the rosaries to unlock bench locations and to pay to get the fast travel, spots. They reduced those in some of the mid-game up to the mid-game as well to make them a little more balanced, I suppose. I think that also it wasn't in the patch notes, but someone on the subreddit said that they also reduced the amount of damage that Hornet takes from spikes in a certain location. So I think, like, instead of 2 health, it was, like, just 1. I'm like, "Okay." But yeah, the 2 bosses that they nerfed was it Morwing? Um,
Mhm.
and then another one who I haven't fought yet, unfortunately, I didn't get to them in time.
I
I
was
did beat go ahead.
Oh, I'm not surprised by the Morwing boss fight nerf. I was surprised by the other nerf,
Mm,
just because I've done both bosses. The Morwing one definitely was frustrating, but was not the one that I was triggered by Discord, surprisingly.
mm.
So I was surprised the secondary one, Sister Splinter, that they nerfed her as opposed to the boss that was triggering the hell out of me.
I had
Yeah.
way less problems with Sister Splinter than I did Morwing.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
could see
mean.
more.
Like, I don't think Sister Splinter was bad.
Because
Yeah,
Sister Splinter is like, she's up there, but you fight her, and Morwing is just like, "Get fucking down here and fight me, you stupid little moth."
yeah, I think people were having trouble with that the phase 2 where it's the double, saw blades that go out and or well, they're swords, but, like, the double spinning blades, and then, like, I think that's what people were struggling with the most. I didn't read into it beforehand because I didn't wanna spoil myself. If I was, like, in a rush, like, "I gotta get to these fights before they patch it because I wanna play them pre-patch so I can, have a frame of reference of what's causing people problems." So I was happy when I didn't realize Morrowind was, like, I went down somewhere, it's like, "Oh, it's just right here, okay," and then I, like, took a couple times and I beat him. I was like, "This." I had a lot of fun with that fight. Because I was like, it was the first fight I felt like where I could get aggressive versus like, okay, one slash, two slash. Okay, now I gotta dodge a bunch of stuff. Like I'll talk about it later when we get into what we're playing. With the different fight that annoyed me, or I struggled with. That was like so silly. But I like this one because I'm like, oh, I can get aggressive, and I like his attack patterns require me to move a lot, but I'm also like still being aggressive with my movements and I can like bait out and I understood his main attack pattern. So I had a lot of fun with that fight, but I got why okay, I could see why people want this would have this, nerfed a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what they changed. I'd be curious to go back and like replay the fight and be like, did they just reduce the number of times he does certain attacks or like the way they go? Like I'm wondering how they balanced it. But or it's like if you get hit by the spinning blades, maybe you don't take multiple hits if that was the thing. I don't recall. I don't think I got hit by him. But
I
yeah,
didn't
they did.
really have an issue with the attacks because they were very easy to bait. You could bait like
Mhm.
the direction he goes, and you can, if you bait it just right, you could get behind it. The problem is with freaking flying enemies, they're just they're just barely out of reach while when you set up the bait and you get under them and you get behind them to do a little slash attack, they're just barely out of reach of like the upper slash. And I'm just like, get down here and fight me, you stupid thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll complain about a different weapon with upper slash later. Uh,
yeah,
but
I'm like, should I rant now or should I hold
now
my thoughts?
let's save rant until we get into our because we'll just all talk about Silk Song together. I just wanted to quickly get out the patch note out of the way. But yeah, there was. I'm curious what if they're going to patch anything else later on. But they also did have like a bunch of fixes. I'm like, well, I can't not do it because I don't want to run into the problems that they list. That could be a problem. It's like, oh, you can get soft locked here. This thing can happen if you do this specific thing. It's like all these very unique instances of causing these problems. I'm like, I'm just gonna have to let it download, like, and because I don't want to screw myself over. But anyways. And then the last thing we had that Nintendo Direct again, nothing super crazy from the Direct. I didn't watch it. Because I don't. I have a Switch, but I don't really touch it. I know they did like a bunch of Mario Brothers stuff. They announced like the Super Mario Galaxy movie, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are coming to the Switch October 2nd, so right around the corner. Uh, they also have a Mario Tennis Fever got announced coming out in February. Uh, Super Mario Brothers Wonder gets a Nintendo Switch 2 edition announced with new DLC, and then a bunch of other stuff. They had a bunch of release dates for games that are coming. They announced like a couple Resident Evil games coming there. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Gold Edition and Resident Evil Village Gold Edition coming in February. They confirmed they had a new trailer for Requiem, and yeah, a bunch of other stuff. Was there anything? I know you said you kind of watched the showcase after the fact. Was there anything that stood out to you from
I
the direct
am
side?
very much the person that like screamed a little bit when they announced Tomodachi Life.
Oh yeah, I see that right
I
here.
I am so excited for new Tomodachi Life, and I love that they kept the stupid like text speech voices, and I'm very excited. It's not. I don't know if it's going to be quite as fun as the one on DS because you had the touch screen and you could kind of mess with them a little bit, but I think it'll still be really good. I'm very much um the annoying person who's been asking for Tomodachi Life for the Switch.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did see that Hades 2 is a timed console exclusive on Nintendo Switch once it fully releases. I know it's in like early access on PC. I don't know if it's on early access for consoles. I know Xbox does have some early access games on their platform. I don't know if PlayStation has it. But I did see that. Like, yeah, it's going to be a time console exclusive. I don't know how long it's going to be an exclusive.
They never really say, huh, until like they announce it for other consoles.
Yeah, I'd imagine with that game because it's pretty popular, it won't be too long. Like maybe just a couple months, perhaps. I don't know.
I feel like it's always like 3 to 6 months, and then you get the really weird ones like Death Stranding, where for some reason it was years. But I feel like
Hmm.
typically it's a pretty reasonable amount of time.
I think the Death Stranding was because Sony, funded it on the back end, so it's like that makes sense why it'd be so long. Like, okay, we're funded, we want the longer exclusivity versus like you know, Nintendo probably didn't fund the development, but they're like, hey, we'll pay for a timed exclusivity. Maybe help fund for the edition that comes out in the Switch too, that kind of thing. But yeah, yeah, a lot of stuff. I know they announced the Virtual Boy coming to the thing, which is like an attachment you have to buy that you drop your Switch or Switch 2 inside to play those games. I'm like,
I'm
"Did-
stoked. I want to get it so bad.
it looks so silly. I'm like, who asked for this? Is one thing I was wondering. But I'm like, I guess if you got to add value to your service, I guess bring back this thing that hardly anybody played, but hopefully doesn't
It's like a
kill your eyes.
meme in the Nintendo community, like Virtual Boy type of thing. Also
Yeah.
like Rob too.
hmm
But I definitely didn't ask for it, but I'm not mad that it's coming.
I was like, everyone's gonna look like Ryan Gosling and Blade Runner, putting their face inside that that thing to look at the game. I'm like, God, it's gonna be just you see red the whole time. It's gonna be crazy. I wonder if they're gonna have like OG kind of graphics and like an eye comfort mode or something like that for it, but we'll see. But yeah, it's like, did they announce the
Old
price
person
of
mode.
of the of the peripheral you have to buy?
I didn't look into it. It's probably I don't know if it's like up on their website or whatever where they sell like the the controllers, but I didn't look into it. I was just like, "Ooh, that's neat. I'll get it eventually."
Okay, I think I see it here. The Virtual Boy, oh my god, it's $99. Or you can get the cardboard model, which is $25.
I was
It's
really
just a
worried you were going to
virtual
be
boy.
like, or you can get the cardboard model, which is $98.
It's
Yeah,
just a Virtual Boy themed Labo.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
wasn't the Labo kind of weirdly expensive for cardboard? I recall it being like people thought it was fun, but it was not cheap.
It wasn't
Yeah,
cheap for the whole, like, kit that you could get, like, the big, like, starter thing. If you want all of the things, here's a big box of cardboard, basically.
yeah, yeah, it's, I don't know, man. Probably because the cardboard was, like, folded in specific ways for you to
Mhm.
actually use it. That's probably what made it, like, because you can't just, like, go to Uline and pick up, "Oh, I'll pick up one of these, R92 boxes and fold together." It's like, no, it had to be specific to that. So it's like, okay, you have these bespoke corrugated boxes that you gotta get.
There were definitely people who were making their own, but it was very much an involved process, which is like if you have a child that wants to do this on their own, that's fine. But I don't think many like parents and kids are going to be like pre-scoring and measuring cardboard and using the little like creasing tools, and people are just going to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird yeah, that's a lot. And it's like I guess if you did it made to order, because it releases February next year, so they gotta be like, I don't know, man. It just seems so expensive for because it doesn't do
I'm just
anything.
saying, I went to school and had to build cardboard models and shit all the time. I will build people these things for $100. You know what? I'll do it for 50. They bring like a cardboard box from Home Depot, I will build it for them.
Yeah.
I'll even
It's just
customize it for you
yeah, I just don't get how it's like because all the I don't know. It just
because
it
they
the
can.
design of it's so weird. It's like I guess that's what it is. Like they none of the parts are like, hey, what can we, tweak that's already something that's being manufactured for something else to fit what we need here. You know what I mean? Where it's like
Mhm.
everything's bespoke. And it's like, okay, that's why it's so pricey. Or it's because that's the tariff price. So like, oh, we're just gonna price it at this is like this is what it is. You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure that factors into it too.
Yeah, so it's yeah. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I'm curious how many people are gonna pick it up. But yeah, other than that, that was pretty much it. Like I said, not a whole lot of stuff going on this week. Just Hollow Knight and obviously Borderlands 4 released as well. I'll talk about that later. But no big game news. All right, we can go ahead and jump into what we've been playing. Now, has anybody been playing anything besides Silksong that they wanna I know Zai you still play your Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. That's it.
Yeah.
That's just been Silksong and
Yeah,
Ragnarok.
because you got upset at Hollow Knight, so you need to talk about that.
I need Hollow Knight has to go in timeout sometimes, so that's when I play Ragnarok.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll save for the end for Borderlands, but we can go ahead and just jump into Silk Song since we've all been playing it. Now I imagine Zai is probably the furthest, both of you because you both beat that boss that I haven't got to yet. That was the second one that got patched. So I'm I mean, obviously it's Silk Song. You can easily talk about stuff without spoiling things because it's like it's Silk Song. Yeah, the furthest I got is I got past that village where everybody's like tied up. And then what's her face is like, "Oh, did you see that village? I didn't hang around too long." And they're like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, I'll figure out a way to free them." And I think I went like a little further. I picked up the map. Oh, that's right. And then I explored more, and then I found the shaft that leads down to the main area, the main village. And I fell down, explored that, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to get back up. And then I started doing I saw a new bounty board quest, and it's like, oh, go kill the dude that's leaving poop behind. I'm like, okay, I'll go kill these guys, collect their shells or whatever, and then did that quest real quick, and then I stopped there. So that's as far as I got. But yeah, I'm assuming you guys are at least a
Yeah,
decent
I'm
ways.
further than that. So do we want to just talk up to
Mhm.
that? Bellheart is so cool.
I
That's
love
the
Valhalla.
place you found. It's just like such cool spooky vibes when you come up into that cutscene and you just see all the people hanging by silk.
Yeah,
It
I love.
reminded me of a it I saw this comparison and I kind of agree with it that Bellheart gives off like spooky Bloodborne vibes when you start like descending further into madness, except you're climbing closer to a chapel. And
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
Silk Song is like the Bloodborne equivalent of the Hollow Knight world, even though Hollow Knight was kind of spooky too. But yeah, Bellheart, that cutscene when you enter is just great.
Yeah, my assumption is that the one mission you have, like, to get to the chapel, like, it has the bound up silk captured bug, which is like is what the symbol looks like, which is like what you do when you get your when you die and you get your stuff back. I was like, okay, this must be where that boss is. And then that would be like end of if the game has acts, like that's the end of the first act. Like, oh, people ascend to this, like this is where all those people that are going on their pilgrimage and they end up here and they get captured and it's like false prophets, yada yada, or something like that. And I'm like, I'm assuming that's what's gonna happen. And then the game expands because I know the game's like pretty big. But yeah, I love in that area too, like when you run and when they have the little loose bells that you run over and the bells ring when you run over them.
Mhm.
I like that little effect. I think it's a lot of fun.
Sometimes when I need just like a little break, if I'm having a bad time, I'll just run back and forth in the hallway. Just
Yeah,
like thinking about what I'm gonna do next. Do I go back and
Well,
have a
that's
bad
weird
time or do I
behavior.
go do something else?
that's funny. Yeah, I'm imagining you're probably similar distance or spot's eye.
I'm probably actually I'm very far from
Okay,
that.
very far. All right, interesting.
I mean, I can
Well,
say where I am. I don't know if it won't
I
like
won't.
the
It's like
area
there's
isn't really a spoiler, but I
yeah,
don't
it's
know.
not a spot. I mean,
Yeah,
you can talk about stuff, but
what area are you in?
I'm in the high hall.
high
Okay.
hall.
So you're the furthest. I recently got to actually since I'm playing it right now. I got to the Cogwork Core recently. That was the last place I
Nice.
visited.
That place is fun.
Sounds
Yeah.
fun.
I
So
like that area.
Zai is the furthest by far, I think,
Yep.
since I don't know what she's talking about. And then I assume that you don't know what either of us are talking about. So
Nope.
up to Bellheart.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't beat that.
No, judging by the way he's mumbling to himself.
yeah.
Well, I haven't seen Sister Splinter yet, so I haven't like if you're both past that,
Yeah.
it's like and I feel like a lot of people call it like okay, I'm trying to figure out where I want to jump off first here, but like there's I have a couple gripes with the game. In that there's way more fight a bunch of waves of bugs in this than there is in Hollow Knight.
I could go
And
off.
it
It's
this
weird.
yeah. And it's like I also feel like with this game, and I get why people say it's challenging, is because this game definitely feels like it started as DLC, right? But they want to make it its whole game. But it still starts like it's DLC. Like, oh, you beat the last game, and now you're immediately jumping in this game. So where like they get into pogoing way faster in this than you do in
Mhm.
Hollow Knight. And I'm like, which I was fine with. 'Cause I'm like, okay, I can practice with this angled, slash or downward thing. Uh, I didn't have any trouble there, but I was like, and then they introduce all those like, oh, you're trapped in a room with a bunch of bugs. I'm like, okay, whatever. But like, there's also a lot of boss fights. I feel like where it's like, okay, now it's like it's not just the little bugs; it's like a bunch of bigger bugs, waves of stuff, and do it. Like those birds, in that one area, before you like if you go right instead of left to go where Morwing is, like
Mhm.
that little bird area, like pissed me. I hated those little guys. Man, I was like, these fucking birds,
I
man.
cannot
Hey. And
stand the birds, and I had such a hard time getting used to the angled down slash. I was like, "This is gonna be the death of me," and it was quite often.
So I actually don't mind the angle down slash. I definitely agree that the start of the game has some weird balance spikes. So the angle down slash I thought I think it's a really good change from Hollow Knight so that it doesn't have the exact same move set. I think that the problem comes with the order you actually get abilities, which is that you actually start with the angle down slash. And to me, the angle down slash doesn't really come online until you get some of Hornet's other movement abilities. And then
Mhm.
it starts feeling a lot better because fights feel a bit more like a flow. But at the start of the game, the angle down slash just kind of feels a little bit weird. That one
I
definitely grew on
yeah.
me, and I like it a lot more. I do think that the boss difficulty and some of the balance aspects of the early game are completely out of whack. Um, I I didn't have so I'm trying to think of like the initial bosses. So you fight Moss Mother, which I thought was a great intro boss fight. It's not hard, but it's hard enough and it has enough move sets that it'll if you're brand new to the genre, it'll probably take you a few tries, but you'll feel accomplished after. Then after Moss Mother, you go to what? You go to the Marrow, which has the Bell Beast, which is also a great boss fight. Um, like loved both of those. And then from there you kind of branch off. And I feel like when you start branching off, that's where you get the really weird difficulty spikes, which happens in like any Metroidvania. But I think the problem I've had with the early game is if you're stuck, you can't go explore more areas to get more
Right, right,
powerful
yeah.
to move on. You are just stuck until you beat that specific boss.
Mhm.
Which is fine because like this isn't Castlevania. You can't just go grind, level up Alucard, make him stronger, or like Elden Ring, go do something, go get a couple levels. Like that's not what this is. And you can't in Hollow Knight. You couldn't like upgrade your needle until like way later. And it's like okay, but you could go explore. And I feel like outside of some of the early bits, there's less of that. Like it feels way more linear than Hollow Knight did. Like I was trying to figure out okay, clearly I can't get here because I feel like I need a double jump or something. And so I like put a pin in it. And then I'm like, okay, I can't get here because I clearly need something that helps me get a long distance. It's like, okay, now you get the Princess Peach in Mario 2 floating ability. It's like, okay, that's how I get across this gap. Oh, I got the air dash now, or whatever. Okay, that's how I get it. I can run and sprint. That's how I get there. I still need some sort of wall jump at some point. I'm like, okay, that's clearly going to be a thing. But it's like there's not as I felt like in Hollow Knight the first go round is like you could go a lot of places and explore like multiple zones, and if you get to the boss in that zone you can if you wanted you can stop and go somewhere else and explore, but there's not as much of that I felt like in Silksong. Like there is some of it, but you get gated pretty quick by the requirement for abilities, and then I'm like it feels more linear at least right now, and maybe it opens up in like after you do the first main objective, like maybe that's when it opens up. Like, okay, now
I
you have all the stuff, go do something.
I think that like what I've experienced so far is there are different routes you can take. I think there's like this is kind of guessing, but with where I'm at in the game, I can kind of see how certain pieces connect. And I think that everyone probably takes the first route their first time through the game, I would guess. I think looking at like maps and things that there are probably two or three routes total you could kind of take to move through the game without getting gated. What I kind of struggle with though is like it's not a Metroidvania where you just can explore, can get power ups, and can take different paths based on the abilities you find. Like you can't find one ability and get like one ability early or one item early. You all do it all in order, which is kind of similar to Metroidvanias. But if you don't have, God, how do I put this without spoiling things? Uh, Actually, I'll just talk about it in terms of like mask shards. If you're struggling with the boss, you might see a mask shard, but like you can't get enough abilities or enough extra things to actually help out on a boss. It's all just like get good, which is
Mhm.
fine. It's just definitely different. And I think the balance is much better later on because later on it does sort of open up and you can take different routes. But in the early game where they gatekeep you into one particular path, it goes from hard to annoying in certain areas. And it's not always just the boss fights. Sometimes the annoying part is just running to the boss. Sometimes it's not having a bench nearby. It's little things like that where you're like, yeah, if I had more movement abilities, this 20-second run through dangerous area would actually be fine and enjoyable. But because it's early game and all I have is a pogo, this early aspect running to a different boss fight or trying to get back after dying becomes really frustrating if you have to do it even more than just like twice.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, there I had the one fight like I liked a lot of like you said, the Moss Mother finds or whatever's like little boss, Bell Beast, little goober who wants to show you his bells. And he's like, don't take my bell. And then he becomes your fast travel buddy. It's like they're all fine. They weren't that difficult. I liked the lace fight, I thought was a lot of fun. I love a mirror matchup where it takes like if it like for me, like if I don't sight read it the first go, I like if I do it on the third run. It's like, okay, I learned the first phase. Okay, now I get to phase two. And the second go round, I see the attack patterns, and the third one's where I win. I love like for me, I personally love it. I really like the lace fight. And then there was an fourth chorus I thought was a fun platforming fight. It just went on too long. I one shot that one, but I was like, that was a weird one. Also, there was something about the animation. You know how like an anime when it's hand animated, but then they have like random CGI animation that's just cell shaded and you can see it and it looks weird. That boss's animation looked weird to me. And I don't know if that's supposed to be uncanny valley for the boss because it's like it's not supposed to be a bug or something. It was just weird when I was watching. It's like this boss looks like he's moving with like someone has their TV on motion smoothing. I was like, I don't know what it
Mhm.
was about that boss, but it looked good. But I like that fight, but it went on too long. That's when I finally remember like, oh yeah, there's no health bars in these games, which is another thing.
Every fight goes on too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I feel
yeah,
like that's like a Hollow Knight Silksong thing in general, which
but
I think it's their style. Is just that like every fight is a fight that takes like 50 hits to kill them. It's not
but
just
it's
one.
funny because Lace, I didn't feel like took that long. Like that fight, like I felt like Lace was like a good. And that could be because that's clearly a boss that's gonna like she's the hornet of this game, of where it's like it's quick because you're gonna fight them again, and then the final time is gonna be like that's the long one. So like they don't have you do the full like, oh, you see like the first two phases, but this boss is actually gonna have like four phases in which you do the real fight. So that's probably why it was quick. But then it's like after that, then the fourth course is like, okay, this is gonna go on. This goes on a little too long. Even though it was fun. But yeah, the optional fight that gave me the most trouble was the Savage Beast Fly, and I don't know why, but, like, that boss annoyed the
That's the
hell out of me.
one that I was talking about that triggered me is the Savage Beast Fly. I didn't know
It
you were
does
there yet.
way too much
That's
damage.
that's the one that I was surprised that they didn't tone down the Savage Beast Fly. I agree with them nerfing Morwing. I don't agree with them nerfing Sister Splinter. Savage Beast Fly has probably given me the most trouble of any boss that I've fought in this game so far, and not for valid reasons. And I like every ad in that. I don't know. It's like the Beast Fly itself, really boring moveset. I'm going to compare it to fourth
Mhm.
course because I think fourth course is like a good comparison. Fourth course, easy moveset, fun to kind of understand and pick up after a while, but still pretty easy. Savage Beast Fly, easy moveset, but not fun to avoid and navigate. And like I think that's a big difference between those two is like the movesets, both are pretty easy. One is way less enjoyable to actually play.
Yeah,
Then you get to
like
like the actual damage component of
mhm,
fourth
yeah.
course, you jump up to damage them. Not a problem. You can poke off the head, not a problem, things like that. Savage Beast Fly gets so fucking annoying because every time you stun it, it just falls on you and then does damage, or you damage it and then get hit by the boss anyways, or touch the boss
Or
accidentally
it
anyways.
it gets stunned in the air, and then it's like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I can only hit it, like, twice before it gets unstunned because I have to jump up and smack its ass." I had to, like, try to time like, okay, oh, it's gonna get stunned soon. Okay, it's doing the downward slam. Okay, hopefully I get it on the downward slam so it's down on the ground. Because if it gets stunned in the air, I'm like, "I fucking" and the one thing that pissed me off about the beast fly is, like, every attack it does is predictable. It's like, okay, but there's the one where it does where, like, it drops down and it's gonna fly at you, but sometimes when it drops down, like, it'll kinda drop wherever Hornet is and, like, pick, like, okay, if you're up in the air, it triggers that attack, it flies across up above. If you're on the ground, it drops down low and flies across. But it'll be, like, sometimes and I don't know what it was about it, like, it would drop like, I'm standing on the ground, it drops down, and then I jump up to get ready to pogo it, and then it goes up, it is interpreting what I'm doing and, like, "Oh, you're going up? Then I'm going up." I'm like, "But your animation already went down," like, because it doesn't do that 100% of the time, and I don't know if it's, like, just a frame timing thing, but, like, there were certain times where I would go to jump to pogo, and it would change course, and then it would hit me. I'm like, "God damn it," and, like, that's what would
Mhm.
piss me off, and then the randomization of it wasn't like, if the bugs it drops were in order, like the rooms that lock you in with the waves, it would be like, "Oh, it's gonna be a flying guy. Okay, now it's the spiky guy on the ground. Okay, now it's the flying guy with the swords," you know? Like, if it was proper order, it'd be easier to prep for that kind of stuff, like, "Okay, for these guys, I'm gonna do this." When it's like, if it's random, it's like, "Oh, the first time it's like, now it's the guy with the swords. Okay, now it's these guys." It's like, the randomization of that would bug me because 'cause I'd be like, "Okay, I can get the rest of the fight," and then just prepping for what's
It's
he gonna call down.
Without the bugs, it's a really easy fight that's boring and you're going to get damaged accidentally. With the bugs, it becomes just frustrating because the entire difficulty of the boss fight comes from the randomness of what you just described. Like if you get the
Mhm.
shitty bugs, it becomes a really hard boss fight. It's annoying either way. Like it's I even if it was just the weak bugs the entire time, I still think that boss fight would suck
Yeah.
because it is just he has way too much health. It is a boring fight and like it's just not interesting in any capacity.
Yeah, and it's
But
optional.
then
Like, I like that you can make him destroy the other bugs, and that was fun. That mechanic of it, be like, "Oh, he's slamming? Okay, I'll stand next to this bug, and then he'll come down and destroy it." Like, that was kind of fun, but yeah, the fight just went on a little too long, and like I said, the randomization, and then for me, the whole course correction of when he's gonna fly across and hitting me when I was like you shouldn't have done that. You should have been down below. Like that shit pissed me off. But for so whatever reason, that one gave me a ton of trouble. And what's funny
I
is
think
like
that's the one that's given everybody a ton of trouble. I don't think
bef-
it's like just you.
the before that fight, you have the one where it's a wave fight, but the map lady is there with you. And I was getting mind flooded because she's throwing her little discs around, but the ants that spawn on the ground also throw discs. So I
Uh-huh.
was so confused. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm getting mind flooded on is this a dangerous disc? Is this a bad disc? And like which ones are she attacking? Which are any on aggroed on her? Is the strat just to run around and try to survive and she kills them?" Like I had
That's what
trouble
I
with that.
did.
Yeah, I had trouble on that one. Not nearly as much, but like I just would get mind flooded like crazy. Like, okay, I get the discs are throwing me off, man. I
I heard
can't.
that she can help you, but she didn't help on mine. I'm curious what triggers it because that fight without the help is kind of challenging,
Yeah.
especially
Um,
after the hunter's march portion to actually get there. Like it's not fun having to go through. This was one of the run back areas I'm talking about where like just add a fucking bench before it.
yeah.
Like just it's an early game area, just add a goddamn bench.
And they're paid, so like I will pay for the bench. Like don't make it be a bench that's like, yeah, in the world or it's next to the vendor or something like that. Like there should be paid benches. Like then it becomes okay, I'll work for the rosaries, pay for the bench. I earned the bench to be here or whatever because I did the, time to get the currency, whatever. Like do something like that or something, but yeah, like that was one of the runbacks where I was like, I got because I kept running into the trap that the one ant has, and I'm like, God damn it! And I ran into the trap again because I'm just frustrated by the boss. I'm like, I got to break out of the fucking cage now. Uh, I like that area otherwise. Like, I love that when you kill the ants or break any wood, and the little ants on the ground just pick them up and start carrying them away. They drop the
So so disconcerting when a little head just starts to
yeah,
float away. I was like,
float
"Oh,
away.
oh god, no, I
They
feel bad
they
now."
drop they drop stuff I want to pick up, like because I want to refill my arrows, and then they're like, hey, give me that back. Killing that. Uh, I love whenever a bug, like, derpily jumps into, like, lava or something like that. I'm like,
Mhm.
"What a goober." And then I'm like, "But I can't get the stuff now." Like, God damn it. But yeah, and then I don't like there's a lot of areas I've got to so far after I finish the 4th chorus and the fly, and I'm like, "Okay, where do I go?" And then I get up into uh, the area I said I was at where you go past that village, with everybody. It's like when you're going through, like,
Bellhearts,
the what do they call the area before that? It's like Darkmoor or something like that, or Belmore
Greymore.
or Greymore. It's like that area, and then the area after that, I don't like when they have these bits in the section where it's like, "Oh, you have to you wanna run across? No, there's a Miyazaki door." And they have, like, these Bloodborne style shortcuts where it's like, "Oh, you gotta go up to this vertical maze back and forth, and then you gotta drop down and open the door, and now you never have to go back up this way again." I'm like, "That's not fun to me." Like, in my mind, Hollow Knight is like, "Oh, you could just run through if you want, but if you wanna explore this little area that's off to the side, there's something up there for me." Like, in the next area after the village, where everybody's all tied up, there's that like all the little bugs and stuff. They're kind of friendly looking. It's all green. And it's like you can explore, but you have to go up to open up that one door on the left side. So you got to go all the way up to drop down to open the door on the left, so you don't have to go through that area. But there is like those purple bluish like hives, and you break them, they open up little rooms. I'm like, that should be the reward for choosing to explore the vertical area. It's like let me run through if I just want to run through, but the reward to explore and do the traversal and all that stuff is that I can find this extra little item. Like that's the rewarding aspect of me. Like it's weird that they do this like, no, you got to go through a maze first to open up the door so you never have to go here again. I'm like that it seems counterintuitive game design to me. Like you want to reward in these games I feel like you want to reward the exploration, not be like it's required one time and now you never have to do it again. It's like this weird opposite effect of Death Stranding of like, oh, you have to go to the prepper with whatever tools you need, and then it comes online. Now you can use all the major tools to go back and forth, make repeat deliveries. It's like that's fine because the reward to me is that first trek where I have to do it manually. And then everything else is like get online, that's the reward. Now I can do repeat deliveries easily. Where this is like, I got to do this dumb thing and I'll never have to go back to this area. And it's like, I should be choosing to go to the area because I want to explore, not because you're literally it's this linear path I have to take. You know what I mean? Like, and annoying. Like, okay, how do I go? I don't have the map yet. Okay, I'll go. Let's go here. Let's go here. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I don't like that personally. I want to be incentivized to explore, not required to take a linear path that's like to open a door, and then I
I
just
think
never go that way again.
I think this kind of falls in line with my comment earlier about how like you can't explore more to power up when you are stuck on a boss is because there's certainly like things to find, but none of the rewards are great. So I've found that I explore when I want to, but that it's not often for anything that actually benefits me aside from the rosaries I get from exploration, which help me buy things. But that's not
Mhm.
like a good cause in itself. And there is part of me in my brain that's like, if I needed rosaries, it'd probably be faster to just like mindlessly farm as opposed to getting them through exploration.
Yeah, which I think is why they increased the reward for them in the patch. They're like, okay, now the roses you find give you more. I'm like, okay, that's good. Oh, speaking of roses, when you get to Greymore, and I went right first, and then I found the bird's house, and I was like, okay, these guys are fucking annoying. And but the map lady's there, and on the way to her, there's a little thing. It's like inspect. It's like, do you want to insert 80 rosaries? And I was like, sure, but I kept thinking it was like, oh, this is a bench or something like a machine that does something. Like it create, there's a lot of that everywhere. It's like you ring a bell for whatever reason. It's like, is this like a Dark Souls thing? I got to ring some bells. And it just creates a bench. But I put 80 rosaries in and or 80, yeah, 80 beads in, and it gives me a rosary. And I'm like, okay. And then it's like,
It
do you want
just
to put 80?
compresses them for you.
But it costs you 20 to make a rosary of 60. And
It
I didn't
does, yeah.
realize that.
Yeah.
So I
It
kept doing it. I'm like, what is this doing? And then I did it again. I'm like, I'm just losing goddamn
I
beads.
mean, I guess it prevents you from dying. I
Yeah.
don't mind the mechanic of in a system where you can lose the currency that actually matters to you, having a way to preserve them through
Yeah,
death at a
it's
cost. Like
awesome.
I don't like that. Or I do
Yeah,
like that, sorry.
yeah.
I don't mind that. I did find that machine funny because it's like it's I think it's the first one you encounter that's not
Mhm,
an
mhm.
NPC that does that.
Yeah, and that's why it costs money. Because like, if you wanna go back to the village, you gotta go all the way back, and, like, you don't have a fast travel unlocked. Because I think the one in that area is broken, and, in Greymore, so, like, you can't fast travel to Greymore, and so I'm like, "Okay, if you want to use your rosary, you gotta go way back to the village." I'm like, "No one's gonna do that. It's gonna take too long." So, it's like, "This is the price you pay." It's like, "You pay 20 to save 60." I'm like, "That's fine." Um, but it's like, it took me a while to realize what was going on with the machine. I was like, "What's happening with this machine?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just losing beads, damn it." Uh, but yeah, I do love that mechanic. I think that's great because, like, yeah, it'd be great if like Bloodborne or Souls gaming, like, can you just like forge this into a greater warrior skull or something or soul, and then like Liza P like do something else like that would be if there's a way that you could like save the items into the ones that you usually pick up and break. I think that would be that. I think that's a great addition to a Souls like.
Yeah,
Um,
I liked it a
yeah,
lot. I like the cost for it. That was a cool aspect. I think a lot of the elements of this game are like designed really nicely. I think the balance is just a little bit weird. Like I like that the moveset is actually different from Hollow Knight and that they varied it enough that you have to play it differently. Um, Hollow Knight had like the charms that used to increase your powers, and they all had like a cost associated with them. And then in Silksong, you get like crests that you can change out, so it's more like different loadouts as opposed to power ups and abilities, which I've enjoyed that as well. I think the game is really, really good. My one gripe is just like there's like one or two bosses that are just not fun, and they just need to add like a bench somewhere because they're not. Like they're just not designed well. And Savage Beastfly is the one I'm thinking of. Like it's just not a good boss fight.
yeah. It's funny like the one that was giving you trouble earlier on. There's that optional boss fight. It's like the buff bug with the sword. And that's the one where it's like, okay, clearly the only attack from that guy I can't do is when he jumps because you don't have the dash yet. I'm like, he clearly requires like to beat him properly, you need the dash. But I quickly realized that if I just go to the left, he can't do the jump attack. So I'm like, okay, I'll just bait him to the left. He can't jump. He'll
That's
still burrow underground, and then I'm just gonna kick his ass. I'm like, I'm just gonna cheese this guy. So then I
that's
did
what I
that.
did with him without the dash, and I was kind of like, well, that was a dumb fight.
Mhm.
And then I actually like got the dash, and he pops up again as like a mob elsewhere. But then
Oh,
when you
nice.
actually can fight him otherwise, like with the dash, you're like, oh, this is actually like a well designed boss and is actually like kind of fun. You just need the dash in order to make it enjoyable.
Yeah, it's weird. So I'm gonna go back to something we talked about earlier. It'll tie into that. It's weird that they added the bounty board. Like, to have side quests in the game is interesting, but I feel like maybe at some point the reward for doing those will kind of fill that gap of if you get stuck on a boss, do some bounty board stuff. The items you get, like, be it, oh, you could unlock another crest slot or something in your whatever crest you can unlock another slot for a medallion. And like, or it's like it'll give you this thing, maybe a chunk that lets you power up your needle. Like, I'm wondering if that's the way they're going to balance getting stuck. Be like, okay, just do this optional stuff that can give you items to make you stronger, passively or what have you.
But I feel
I'm
like most of the bounties only appear as farming bounties after you've already beaten a boss.
well,
Like
there's
you'll beat an area and then it'll give you a bounty that's like go back into the area you just beat to farm for X number of items.
well, what's interesting is like Morwing, I found out after the fact is an optional boss, and if you do the collect the fleas quest, like I
Yeah.
got like 3 of the fleas because I wasn't, I'm not, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to spend my time looking for fleas. If I find them, I find them. If you get all the fleas, they move shop to where that boss fight is, and that boss fight isn't there.
Yep.
Hmm.
And then also, if you meet that old guy who's resting in that zone, talk to him, encounter Morwing, go back and talk to him, get a crest somewhere else in the map. I think you have to the Reaper crest, and then go talk to him. Or then he'll move places down by Morwing and fight with you. And like that's something you could do. That I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's like these other ways to deal with that. But yeah, it's. I'm wondering if that's how, but it seems like maybe that'll be the case. Like you said, it's after the fact, but maybe like there was one when I went down after I looped all the way around and I fell down the shaft back to the main village. There was 2 new quests, and one of them was, "Hey, go back to the early zone that you've been through way earlier in the game." And it's like, look for the dude that's pooping everywhere and collect their shells. And, like, I was like, "That's interesting," because it wasn't like a quest that was, one of the later areas I just cleared, like in, Darkmoor or whatever it was called, Greymoor. It wasn't there. It was, like, in the area that's to the right of the zone where that village is. I'm like, "That's weird." And so I'm like, "Okay." So I'm wondering if it'll be, like, not necessarily in zones you just did, but, like, a way earlier zone. Like, oh, if you go back, like, once you do, like, your 3 zones separated in completion, it's like then early game bounty board will show up, and, like, but I'm wondering where other bounty boards will be, but if that'll be the mechanic that they use. Because there is that one the one reward I liked that I think is really useful, at least for me, is when you collect the 3, moss things for that one, like, person who's brewing in the one area, and, like, she
Hmm.
gives you an emblem, like, every time you get hit, you get, like, half a silk thing.
The druid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that piece is pretty nice. Like, I'm like, "Okay, this is nice because then, like, I'm getting a little assistance if I'm getting hit, which is helpful in when I did the bird fight and the what was the other fight? I think it was just mainly the bird fight because that fight was fucking annoying. But, yeah, man, and I had this thing where I like the downward slash, like the angled slash. I got used to it really quick. I like the platforming. It's fun, yada yada. I wish it went all the way. Like I'm hoping I can find some sort of emblem or medallion or whatever that can like when I do my downward attack for that crest specifically, it goes to completion. Like if I'm like, 2 stories up, it just goes 45 degrees all the way until I hit something. There's a lot
Hmm.
of times like I go to do it to an enemy, but it's like they're just out of that max range of the ability, and then I just bump into them and take damage. So I wish I can extend it, but then each crest is like a different attack. And like that first one you get with like the claws and that weird downward like arch slash. I'm like, I don't like this at all. I and it's like it changes where
The
your
first
circ
one's what, the Reaper one?
I don't think that's I think Reaper's the third one you get. The second one I think is something else. But it's like where your circle is you hit people to get health back. It's like you have like a claw.
Oh, yeah,
Uh
yeah.
the 3 claw, like, is the way the swipe looks. I don't like it. The Reaper one is where it's like it's a heavy swing, and the downward is like a spin, a half moon
Yeah.
slash.
But there's a
That one's
delay.
that one's okay, and I like that it knocks it I like the knockback effect because that made the bird fight way easier, for me. But I hate and this goes back to what I was saying with the upward slash, I hate the upward slash with that because you have to be facing the direction that you want to upward slash because it's not just vertical, it's like a half slice on the direction you're facing. So if you're not perfectly under something and looking at that bird's direction, you're gonna miss. And I hate it so much. I'm like, I hate the upward slash of this weapon. Like
I'll
it
be
sucks.
honest. I mostly just use the Hunter's Crest. I think that like of all the crests I've found so far, it's the best balanced one.
Yeah, I think the heavy one's great. That's why I'm hoping I can get like you get that weighted belt early on where it's like it prevents you from being knocked back. And when you hit, you don't get knocked back. I'm like, that's fine. I hope I can get that, but for the first weapon you have, that way I can knock people back because I love the knockback, especially for those birds that the little tiny birds that swoop down. I'm like, then I can push them up. Then when they swoop, they don't swoop down as far. And like that's a good way to control that fight. It doesn't do more damage to them, but the knockback is just I really like that knockback. But I hate the upward jump, and I like the downward slash is kind of fun. I would have to get used to it if I was to pogo around anywhere, but uh, I think I might just if they probably won't do it where it's like, they're not different weapons in Dead Space, right? We're not gonna be like, oh, you level up this crest. It's like you just level up the needle,
Hmm.
and then it'll be like whatever crest you're using, you're gonna get that +1 damage or whatever to all of them. And if
Well,
that's
you
gonna be
can
the case, I'll
sort of level up your crests because you can use memory sockets on them.
right, but that's just giving you more medallions and whatnot to put in them and more, trinkets to throw and what have you. You're not leveling up the damage like you do when you power up the needle for the Knight and Hollow Knight, like well, I guess not Knight, but whatever. When you
Hmm.
power up the needle, it's like it's the needle that's just getting the power up. So the sword, every time you swing, you do more damage. So I'm assuming it's gonna be the same way with, Hornet. It's like you just upgrade the needle, and it doesn't matter which crest you use, you're still getting +1, +2, +3. Because yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
the
probably
crests
just
are
stick
more
with
like gameplay style, I
yeah,
guess. Because I have one. I don't know if either one. Well, Jason probably hasn't found it. I don't know if Isley found it, but I have one that I've used pretty much almost exclusively, except for like niche situations. So
which
it's
one?
like I completely unlocked that crest, and that's what I use as my like primary thing. So
What's
it's
the
like
attack pattern?
it's like quick slashes.
Quick slash. Ooh, nice.
Oh, it's the Hollow Knight one.
Yeah, it's the Wanderer.
Yeah,
Nice.
Oh,
I
cool.
I have that one too, but I don't like it because it's reduces how long your needle is, and I find the like shorter needle really challenging to use.
Hmm.
That'd be
But
fun. Yeah,
my primary way to kill bosses is to pogo on their head. So I just
I
get I get up above them and then I just down slash for
yeah,
45 seconds.
yeah.
A strategy.
It works. I
Just
love the
down pogo down. Did you play Super Mario RPG? I feel like that's the strategy there. You just jump on their head
Yeah,
repeatedly.
basically.
yeah. Yeah, I do like that they give you different attack styles. It reminds me of getting like different swords in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And like there was one sword in that game which was always a pain for me to find on subsequent playthroughs, but it was an arcing slash that you can use while in movement. Alucard didn't stop. He didn't have like, tank. I have to stop to shoot. It's like and
Mhm.
it was the most OP sword in Castlevania. And I was like, oh, I love that sword. So I'm hoping there's like something later on because I'm very averse to like if I'm using a weapon early on and I'm stuck with that weapon for a while, if you tell me like, "Hey, here's something new," I'm like, "I don't want to use it." Like I'm already used to this. Why would I like that second one you get for Hornet? I'm like, I hate that downward. Why would anybody use this? You like do
I
a
don't even
little
know which second one you're talking about because I feel like I got the Wanderer's Crest, and then I feel like I got the. Oh, I know you're talking about the Savage Beastfly one, the Beast Crest.
yeah, it's like you do the
Yeah.
slashes, but
Yeah,
the downward pogo is like you arc. So instead of 45 degrees, like you do this little arch. I'm like, that I tried it on some pogoing puzzles bit just to practice. And I'm like, I fucking hate this thing, man. It's like it changes your timing so much because the way you have to do it. I'm like, I hate it. I hate it so much. I can't stand it.
yeah,
Um,
no, that one sucks.
I hate that one. Like I like the idea of you go into berserk and you get health back. I'm like, that's fun because it like incentivizes attacking. But
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm like, okay. And man, the one crest you get where it's like it protects you while you're trying to heal. I thought that meant it would let you get your heal off, and if someone hit you, it just like the protection shield went away, but you still got your heal off. It's like no, you just don't take damage, but it still cancels your heal.
It cancels your
yeah.
hair and it eats all your silk.
The
Yeah, and I'm like, damn it.
the way that one was worded, I definitely thought it was going to be like if I heal, I get a shield that protects me during the process of healing,
hmm
and then I come out of healing like healed, and I was like, this sounds great. And then I
Yep.
tried it, and I'm like, well, that was a lot.
Well, it gave me, like, this false hope when I fought Morwing, so it was like but I never got hit when I was using it because I always time my heals just right anyways, for that fight. So it was like it was funny, like, I beat the boss, I'm like, "Oh, great," and then later I did it, and it's like I found out, "Oh, this doesn't work how I thought it was." I'm like, "Would that fight have gone different if I knew it didn't work that way? Like, would I have less like, was it this, Oracle in the Matrix situation where, like, I had this false confidence because I thought it worked one way, but, this weird placebo of, like, "I'm invincible," but really and that's why I had so much fun with that fight, but, yeah, it was,
So did you fight Morwing pre-nerf or
Yes,
post-nerf?
yes. I managed to I found more wing, like, immediately, like, in the afternoon, on I forget when it was, but, like, I found like, I didn't realize he was, like I knew he was in the zone, but I didn't know where because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, you have, like, this arena fight here, you have the bird arena fight over here." I'm like, "I don't know where he is," but I'm like, "Whatever," and then I had to go down, like, "I'm just gonna go down this one area on the map where you have to go down." It's like, "Oh, that's where he is," and I found him, like, immediately just quickly beat him real quick, and then when I booted up last night before or yesterday afternoon, that's when the PS5 patch hit, and it's like, "God damn it." And it's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna fight Scissor Splinter post nerf, I guess." Uh, but, no big deal, whatever. But, yeah, other than that, like, I still enjoy the game. I hope there's more exploration, because yeah, I felt like and there is, like, kind of a downside to that too, like, in Hollow Knight, I remember at one point, it was like, I explored so much, and then I'm like, "Okay, I see all these because on the map, it shows you, like, "Okay, you haven't gone here." I'm like, "Okay, clearly these are the areas I need to go." It's like, "Okay, that one looks like I'm gonna need a double jump based on the size of the room and where that hallway is." And it's like, you can end up getting to a spot where it's like, I don't remember where I need to go, and I just have to revisit every spot, be like, "Okay, I can do this one now." And this is where it leads me to get the thing I need to go do the other locations. So that is one of the downsides to when they let you go everywhere, for the most part. Uh, whereas this is, like I said, it's very linear so far. But yeah, I'll be curious to see how it gets once the game, like what I feel like I'm assuming is an end of like an act one once I get to the location for which I'm assuming is the boss, the scissor splinter, whatever, and do that, and it'll be like, okay, now it's more open, go wherever, yada yada. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm definitely still enjoying the game a lot. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
It's a great game. I have a lot. I love the design. The art is great. The music is great. Like they've done a lot of things right in it. I think
Mhm.
the small gripes I have are really related to like one or two areas and one or two things, and I feel like that makes it really easy to like if they ever do change it or upgrade it in the future, patch it, which they're already doing. I'm sure these are going to be two areas that get touched.
Yeah, and like I said,
Definitely.
maybe when it later when it opened up, like, mid-game, that's where it's like, "Okay, now this is a great game," whereas, like, Act 1 is very much like, this is it starts too much like DLC when it shouldn't. There's not as much onboarding for new players, not that I'm a new player, but, it definitely feels like, "Okay, immediately get into your different Pokéwing, do this, yada, yada," and like you said, the difficulty ramp up for some folks, it's like, "Yeah, you should this is weird, but the rest of it will be better." And it's like that's all it kind of comes down to. And like I said, the exploration. And I hope there's way less of the Miyazaki doors of like just go vertically up and drop down the left side, and then you open the door, and now you never have to go back here again. It's like I want to be rewarded for exploration more because I felt like when I saw that little like beehive or whatever, it's like I went and attacked it. I'm like, oh, and then but I mean it looked like it was covering the door. Anyways, then when I went to do it, and it's like, oh, and here's a door, and this door has this thing, and you get like a memory shard or whatever it is that opens up the crest piece. It's like I like that, but I should be rewarded for exploration, not this is just I have to go down the linear path to do it. I want to be rewarded, and I feel like that's what's missing.
Yeah, fully agree.
And maybe that's because they introduced the bounty board, and bounty board's kind of that thing where it's like, oh,
Well,
it's not necessarily exploration, it's do side quest.
it's also hard because in a Metroidvania part, and this will be my like little defense of that of like I feel like part of the challenges of exploration is that you actually have to find where the item is hidden, and it's entirely possible that like some of these reward paths for exploration do have great items, but the items are hidden well, and I just haven't found them.
Well, that's why I'm like slashing every freaking wall ever,
I
and I
mean,
find
I
so many hidden rooms, but
I
I
do
am
too.
too, and like most often it's rosaries, but I do think there's like I'm not going to discount the fact that some of the areas where I've been disappointed by exploration, where I've like gone down a path and found like five rosaries, I won't discount the fact that like yeah, there's probably some secret there, or I went like the wrong way through a shortcut, which I think has happened once or twice where I took a long circuitous path. It's actually like you can see the breakable wall on the other side, and I'm like, oh, you're meant to come from the other direction.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's so many Miyazaki doors, dude. I hate how many there are right from the jump. It's like, oh, here's a gate. I see the switching on the side. Okay, all right. Here's another gate. Oh, I can't clearly get over there yet. It's like there's so many. I'm like, why? Why are there so many? Like, I don't mind being gated behind abilities, but it's so weird when it's just like, man, that floating Princess Peach ability is so funny. I just Hornet just looks like I can't be bothered. Like it feels like this
Like,
is
this
beneath
is
me, but I'm stuck
humiliating,
doing
but I'm
it.
gonna do
Yeah,
it.
right? Yeah, it just float. The other thing that annoys me too about it mechanically is I don't like that, and this is just a weird gripe with me. It's not necessarily a good game, but like if you were to jump, then dash, and then float, it's the same distance you would go as if you just jumped and floated. Um, and in my mind, it's like it shouldn't be like that. Like the jump plus the dash, then the float should, because you kind of like you still do a little bit of a fall, like with your the way the input timing works. I'm like in
Mhm,
my mind, I'm like it should be jump dash float is a longer distance than jump float. But because you lose some height in that process, it equals out. Because I was testing it there's like that in that Greymoor area, there was like a dock, and I was like, okay, I gotta because I kept going back to the freaking bird nest, and I kept forgetting to rest at there's that chair that's next to the map lady, but it's like just a beanbag, and so I forgot it's a chair or a
mhm.
bench, and I kept going like, "Oh, there's a bench right there." Uh, so I kept doing that run back, and I kept testing, okay, if I jump from the end of the dock and I just float, okay, this is how far I almost get to the other side of the dock. Now what if I jump, dash, and float? And it's like it was always the same. I'm like, man, it's like it just shouldn't work that way in my head. It should be 2 different distances, but whatever. But yeah, well, yeah. I'm curious, like, how much too, like, some of that early stuff where it's like, "Oh, you got the float, and you can go up the vents." How frequent are those vents gonna be in other locations of the map? Like,
Very.
okay, good. I was like, I hope they're everywhere and not just like, "Oh, the floating is useful for traversal, but you're not to." Because I think when I went somewhere, it's like I found, like, 1 extra one, or whatever. It's, like, not too much, and then I was like, because the pogo, at least, like, when you kill the birds, you make all those balloons fill up. It's like, "Okay, here's the
I
balloons."
I think so far I've only found one ability that not becomes irrelevant, but like most of the abilities I think are used pretty well throughout like the map design, and I've only gotten one ability where I'm kind of like, this one doesn't quite fit with the others. Like, don't understand the point of it.
Yeah. Any other final closing thoughts on Silksong for anyone?
It's in timeout right now. I'm very angry at it. I
Which
could say
I
why,
guess
I
you
don't wanna spoil
probably
it. I'm
yeah, I
on a
was
boss
like
fight, it's pissing me off.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
wanna
no
I
spoil it,
spoilers.
but
Yeah.
you'll when you get to it, you will know which one it is.
Alright. I
man,
was
I did that with a gauntlet earlier. I got to a gauntlet in Far Fields with like a later game gauntlet there that oh god, I wanted to pull my hair out for a while.
Oh, is it the one where you drop down?
Yeah, that
I
one.
can't do it. I can't do I left. I was like, "I can't do this."
That one
that's
frustrated
man,
the hell out of me.
that's my problem with, like, the gauntlets is I'm like, anytime I have, like, a lot of rosary stuff on me, I'm like, "Oh, man, this area looks like it's kinda big. I feel like there's gonna be a stupid gauntlet where I'm trapped in something." And it's like, sometimes it turns out not to be the case, but other times, like, "Yeah, here, yeah, it's a gauntlet." I'm like, now I'm stuck here. I gotta keep coming back to get my stuff." It's interesting. I like that, because, obviously lore-wise, she's not the same as, Hollow Knight, where it's like, you have your spirit in the first game come back, tries to get you. And then it's like, you gotta fight it off to get your stuff back, and this is like, "Nope, you're just wrapped up in silk," and,
Just come get your goop.
it's fun. I do like to game it where I build up my silk on the way that to, like, back to a fight, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll try not to hit my drop here, that way I can get a fully refill my silk back and yada yada," and then
Mhm.
but it never really works out because I end up accidentally hitting it, trying to hit the boss or something. Like, "Yeah, tried."
I
But
always go in with at least enough silk to do, like, 1 R attack,
mhm.
and then try to hit the boss and the cocoon with that
Yeah.
attack, and so it's like, okay, you get that attack off, but now you get all your silk back. So that's
Yeah.
usually what I do.
I like getting when you finally get the AoE silk attack with the string.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Thank you, finally." I was like, I was wondering where this was. I was like, "Where is this ability?" Uh, that's good,
Oh,
but
that's actually another little comment I have about the game. I feel like the tools are way better than the abilities, and that feels weird to me. Like it feels like the abilities should be more powerful and the tools should be less powerful.
yeah, it's interesting. I don't
I
use
don't know what scales the ability, if it's, like, based on your needle strength or if it's just, like, a flat damage.
Yeah, because I typically don't. I only have used on bosses. I did use like in Greymore. There's those centipede bugs with the tridents, and
Hmm.
I would like. I think you take like they take like 10, maybe all 12 of the daggers to kill if you don't want to swipe at them. But I don't think I've used the R1 like to see if they can die in like two R1s in a hit or something. But oh, speaking of Greymore, I love those guys with the scissors because they remind me of the puppeteer. I was like, what the hell? Got the puppeteer in this game? Is like slicing their way through the floors. I was like, "These guys are cool."
Yeah, they could go up and down the floors, and it's just like you could
Dude, the
just if
first
you
time
jump
they
between them,
chased
they just
me.
go back and forth.
And chasing you like, "I can follow."
Yeah, no, like I had one health and I was like, oh God, thank God I can like jump up a floor. And I jump up a floor and then he chases me up and I was just like, what the fuck?
That's funny.
How
Yeah.
could you?
Yeah, those are fun little guys. Yeah, other than Silksong, I know I'm the only one right now playing Borderlands 4. I'm playing with my cousin, because he picked it up as well. And, I got it on PC. I know people are like, "Ah, it's a lotta you need a big rig to play it at the high levels," but I'm like, "I only played it care about 60 FPS, so it doesn't matter to me." Uh, but yeah, game it looks good, it's fun. It is fun to play, especially co-op. Open worlds, speaking of open, like, world stuff, like, open world structure is fun because it's like, "Okay, go here, here's a question mark, do this thing, yada, yada." uh, get into that loop of like it's funny because like we'll play it and then we'll play it like the next night and I'll be like, wait, what are these other guns I got here? Because like
Yeah.
it's so early game that a lot of guns you get like you're gonna end up replacing them, usually pretty quick and what have you. But I'll be like, I forget which gun I main, and I'm like, oh, I remember this gun. Okay, this gun's the one I like. Yada yada. Yeah, it's just a fun game to play, especially co-op.
Is it the first
Not
time Borderlands has been open world?
I mean, they've always been open area, and I think this
Uh-huh.
is probably gonna be the same. Like, when I zoom out the map, like, it's way bigger than any of the open zones in, like,
Oh,
3 had
okay.
some big
That's
open zones.
that's what I
Mhm.
was curious about is I keep hearing it referred to as open world, but I feel like all of the Borderlands games have been open world thus far. Like you still have an open world you can pretty much go everywhere at, and then you just
Yeah,
have quests that bring you from like zone A or point A to point B.
but
Mhm.
in 3, it was very barren. Like, you had the main, like, hubs in one of them, like, a big open, like, region, very like Metro Exodus or something. Uh, but it's like there wasn't a whole lot to find out in the world. But this is way more open. Like the stuff, like there's way more like question mark spots. There's way more quests that are just out in the open, like exclamation points you can find that aren't like there is a bounty board just like there was in all the other games. But like there's way more like it's more populated. Whereas Borderlands 3 was very empty and there's a lot of travel between spots, and you just like get the quests from the bounty board in the main hub, go out to do it, and come back. And you weren't really finding things in between that. It was like drive out across the expanse, come fast travel back, turn it in. This is like okay, there's a lot of things. Plus, they have like these kind of like there's these open world like boss encounters where like this light dome will just appear, and if you go into the light dome, it spawns like a world boss and you have to you fight the boss. But if you go outside that dome, so like like you need to stay in that arena. If you go outside it, the boss despawn goes away. And like that's the challenge. Like you have to fight them in the and dome's pretty big, but you have to fight them in the dome. And also if one of the players dies, the boss also goes away. So you can't die. So it's like these weird open world challenge bosses that I think is really fun. That I like. So it's like more goes on. So it's more like a proper open world game, like a Witcher, or where it's like going from Novigrad to someplace else on the main quest, you can find many things along the way. Outside, you can find points of interest, yada yada, and other quests and things like that. So it's just more properly populated as an open world. Plus, the first area is much bigger than any of the. It's like a proper like I guess more like The Witcher 3, where Witcher 3 like had big open areas. Like Skellig is like its own place. You have the Novigrad region, it's like its own place, but it's this giant open world map. And it's kinda like that where it's like, I look at the map, it's like it's a big open world and it's nicely populated with stuff. So it's fun. And you can like come across like vault keys, fragments or whatever. And it's like, oh, you gotta go search for them. You can get them and later you can make a full key and then you can go find a vault someplace and go, raid it and what have you. But yeah, I like it. And it's nice to have like a pathing bot, kind of like Dead Space style, where like, oh, I need to know how to get there, and like it'll path you where to go. I feel like sometimes it gets a little messed up. Like if I accidentally put down a custom marker, I'll get a little confused on which way I'm supposed to go for the pathing. I had some problems with that last night, but it's nice that it's there, so at least you know where you have to get to. I thought that was pretty cool. I hate a game where if you hit M for map, and if hitting M again doesn't make the map go away, that pisses me off. I don't know why, but I hate it because I played so many games like M is map. If I hit M again, it gets the map out, or I can hit escape. But it's like I only have to hit escape in Borderlands to get out of the map. I'm like that. It drives me a little bonkers. I don't know why. But yeah, it's just fun. There's fishing, and you can like fish up weapons, which is really funny. Uh, they have this like the grapple mechanic is fun. When I saw trailers, I was like, is this going to be good? But I feel like they implement it really well. So like they have this like bullet storm style like whip, and there's a lot of grabbable like explosive tanks, ice tanks, corrosive tanks that you can pick up and then in your offhand and then throw at enemies. Also, there's like these grapple points along to help you like get around the map. Like if you want to get up someplace high, it's like, oh, grapple this and you can get up there. I feel like they put a good amount of those into each like area that you fight, which I like. I think that's really good. And then I like the mechanic of your health it's a regen syringe, I think is a really smart move. And the enemies still drop, you'll know easily, like enemies still drop health packs you can run and pick up. But there's like a respawn syringe that's on a timer so you can like inject yourself. And each of the syringes you pick up are their own unique items. So they could have different buffs to them. Like, oh, every time you use this, you get increased damage for 15 seconds of like 15% or whatever. The grenades are on a cooldown timer now, so you can like throw your grenades and you have to pick them up. They just regen, which they talked about in the trailers. But that also applies to it's now a slot where it's called your ordnance slot, and it's like you either have grenades or throwing knives or like a Gatling gun or a rocket launcher.
Didn't
And
didn't they do that in another game? Why does that sound so familiar to me? I feel like there's another shooter that like used that exact same thing to change grenades to an ordnance thing, and I can't remember what.
there probably was, but like I like it because it's like, oh, I can pick up the rocket launcher. It doesn't go in a weapon slot; it goes to the ordnance slot, and it's like it's on the ammo just regens after I use it. It's like it's on a cooldown, and I think
Oh,
that's really cool.
Destiny
Um,
2 maybe. That sounds like
Maybe.
Destiny 2 system.
Yeah. Well, because the grenades in that game were more like an ability, right? It was like, oh, you had the void grenade for
Yeah.
Warlock, and like it was more like, yeah, it was
Yeah.
that was on a cooldown, yeah. But yeah, this is like the grenades are like proper grenades or throwing knives or whatever. So, but yeah, so I think that's a great to make healing something that just regens to use, and then the grenades being your explosive stuffs being regen as well. But the lash mechanic I like because there's this one bit where like a side quest I did where there was like this bomb that landed somewhere that didn't go off in this middle center of a village, kind of like Megaton. It kind of reminded me of a bit. And the AI controller inside it, like you can hear it talking because you have uh, through the tech that the player has and whatever. Like she's talking to you and she's got like this very like anime kind of voice-ish thing where and she's like and she's really depressed that she didn't explode, so you're trying to help her and rebuild a new bomb for her to go off 'cause she's like got doubts that she's just a dud and she's not going to work, and so like you get all the pieces and you get the bomb, but when you grab the control unit you use the whip, but you can throw it back and forth if you want between characters. I was like, oh man, this would be great if there was like a mission, a side quest where like there's like a hot potato where you have to take something like some ordnance from one spot and plant it someplace else, but like if one character holds it for 10 seconds, it explodes. So like you and your friend are playing hot potato the whole
That
time.
sounds like a horrible mission. That sounds
No,
like the
because
most
it's
frustrating mission in the
it's
world.
it's fun. Like, we were playing catch with this AI little orb, and it was fun, and so that's why it made me think of, like, "Oh, this would be fun to do," to be like, "Hey, let's throw it back and forth, yada, yada, and catch it," because it's like it was just a good time to like, "Hey, catch this." And, like, we had this one mission, we had to take this dude's head because he had this implant we need to bring to someone, and we were throwing it back and forth, it was funny. But, it just because the mechanic was fun of playing catch and, like, throwing stuff in the air, it was fun. You'd have to be there, Isn't to understand. But no, it was fun, and it was funny, and then she launches off, and she's just like a firework, it turns out, but it was really good. But, yeah, I like the whip mechanic, I think they implemented it really well. I just wish there was some way the one mechanic they added that I don't like yet is and I don't know how frequently it triggers, but you can, like, stun enemies by they get knocked down. So, like, if you shoot someone, I'm assuming if you shoot them in the legs, like, and you get their shield off, they'll fall down and get, like, kinda stunned. I'm like, "Okay, that's nice." But, like, when I'm aiming at a bot's or someone's head through a scope, and then they fall down, and then I miss my next couple shots because I wasn't prepared for them to fall over, like, "Damn it, now I gotta aim down and and get them." But, that it's like that's an interesting mechanic that they have, but, so far, yeah, we're having fun. It's a fun time just to go around and, shoot stuff and drive around the open world and, all that kinda thing. So I'm having fun with that and kinda playing it, with him probably whenever we're able to,
How's
but,
how's the story on it? Because I know there was a lot of early talk that this Borderlands would have like a more serious tone and story, but then the trailers obviously don't show that. They show like a very humorous kind of typical Borderlands game. Is it
Um,
like a difference of tone from other games?
I don't know. I mean, it's like, okay, this is like a planet that was under rule by the Timekeeper. He's like this tyrannical dude, and then when, what's her name? The Siren brings the planet over and it crashes through their shield, like, it opens it up and a bunch of people show up on the planet, and now it's like, okay, now there's vaults here, so now vault hunters show up, so that's why we're here, the vault hunters, and we come down and we're, like, fighting some bandits, and they're like, uh, you could see, like, people who are under control by him, they have this, like, this spine, like, base of your head attachment that, like, goes into their spine to, like, control them, and you see, like, the bandits, like, remove that from one person, and then they have them join the bandits, whatever, but anyways, you get captured, like, immediately, and then it's like, they're going to take control of you and put one of those on you, and they do, they put one on your next, now you're under control, or can be under control and be monitored by the Timekeeper, but then a resistance dude shows up and he's like, okay, there's clearly a resistance trying to fight this guy, and they recruit you and yada yada, and some shit goes down. Like they end up dying at the end of the intro mission, through self sacrifice and whatever, and you go meet up with the resistance, and you're helping them. So it's like it's way more involved versus just like, oh, you're going around looking for a vault, okay, or Handsome Jack's also looking for the vault, and he's got a side. Like there's like, okay, this bad dude, and you're gonna help him help people fight, but do so along the way. But there's still like the Borderlands tone. Like it was weird. I was watching a clip of Greg Miller talking about how he felt that like it wasn't really Borderlands with the tone. I'm like, the side missions I'm doing still feel very Borderlands. Like there was a bandit who was like, she's trying to create a way to safely remove the thing from the back of the neck without like destroying the person's like mental capacity in the process. 'Cause like when the bandits do, like they become way more like now they're Borderlands bandits. Like they're not, they lose kind of their intelligence, whatnot, because like it damages the base of the top of their spine, whatever. She's like trying to work some way to do it, and like helping her, and she has like a dude in the chair, and she goes, okay, we're gonna try this. And, like she shocks him, and he gets stabbed, and he blows up. Like success, he's cured, and like it's like okay, and the buddy's character's like, well, I'm glad we could help you with your science. We're gonna get going now, and like so we leave. Like so but she's still thinking like, oh, it helped. Like you didn't remove the thing. You killed you killed the dude. He's gone now. So it's like, but it was like silly tone, of course. So it's like I don't know why they think it's like not. Now I haven't seen like Scooter's not there. I haven't seen anybody else like some of those old characters yet. So I don't know if they'll show up. But no, I mean it feels like Borderlands. I mean, obviously story's a little more involved. Stop this tyrannical regime
I
kind of
mean,
thing. But
you kind of described what I was curious about of like the tone of side quests and things because I feel like I've heard so many conflicting viewpoints. I heard the Greg Miller comment as well, and I've heard it from other people that it doesn't feel like Borderlands. But to be honest, like I thought Borderlands 1 and 2 were great. I thought Borderlands 3 was like it was fun, but it was fine. And then with 4, I've definitely felt like it needed a change to it needed some change to the formula to actually make it like a successful game again. And that's kind of what I haven't been able to grasp from all the trailers and reviews is whether it's actually done enough of a change.
yeah, it feels like the MSQ, like the MSQ is more serious, but like there's characters in the MSQ. Like there's this one dude, he's all about protein and whatnot. He's all like, oh man, I gotta make more protein brownies for the person when they come to the place. I gotta do this. I gotta like he's like a silly character like that, and he's got some funny dialogue. But like the mission you're doing is like obviously serious. Like you're trying to get someone to help you, help the resistance and what have you. So it's like the tone for the MSQ can be like more serious, but the dialogue and stuff can still be goofy. And so it's in the side quests are, kind of silly. We haven't done a ton of them, but like I said, the one I did with the robot AI in the missile, like that was a silly a silly little side quest. And but yeah, I don't know. Like it seems like it doesn't not feel like Borderlands. It feels like Borderlands. So
Yeah, that description sounded like classic Borderlands to me. The
yeah.
missile.
But again, I'm not too like, we're not like crazy far into it or anything. We have the speeder
How's
you get and whatnot, but
how's the actual
yeah.
gunplay?
Good. I'm playing on PC versus console, so it's you know, it's good. Gunplay feels really good. Some of the guns obviously still have the thing where like when you shoot them, not every shot is going to be right where you hit. Sometimes they have a little bit of bullet jump, I guess, depending on the gun. But I like they do this thing now where some guns can be like, oh, you can cycle. Do you want to use pistol ammo or do you want to do assault rifle ammo? So you can change it. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So it's like you don't have to, if you run out of one, you can just switch it to the other. I'm like, that's nice. Or like I found a gun, a handgun where it's like you can use pistol ammo or sniper ammo. Like, that's it, but it still does the same damage. It doesn't, like, change the damage output. And then there's some guns that are, like, they're different weapons together. I found a sniper rifle with a shotgun underbarrel that's, like, the alternate fire for it. That was kinda crazy. So, like, you can use it, FAR or CQB. I like the guns that are, like, the Mali ones that are switch between 2 different elemental types. I think that's really cool. Especially if you get, like, a lightning or a shock and a fire. I'm like, "That's great. Use the shock to take down the shield and then use the fire to burn them if they're a flesh enemy." And stuff like that. I am only playing on normal, just because I feel like whenever I play, because I played all the other ones on hard, but I feel like you run into too many spongy enemies, and I think the way they scale it, though, is that they emphasize the elemental affinities more. So it's like, yeah, they're harder, but if you use the proper elements to, like, take down the shields, then you won't have trouble, or use fire on the flesh, you won't have trouble, or corrosive on armor. It's like it's like incentivizing you more to use the mechanics, which I've seen in other video games, and it can work really well. But the problem is in Borderlands, you're constantly changing weapons. So it's like I don't want to have to keep, oh, I'm going to keep one shock weapon, I'm going to keep one fire weapon, one corrosive weapon, to make sure I have the rotation depending on the enemies I fight. Plus, it's like you usually fight in like a big group of people. And it's like the most common one to use is just have a shock because everyone's got a shield. It's like, okay, I'll just take down the shield quickly and I still do shock damage to people who are human. It's just fire would do more. So I'm like, I'll just keep on normal because I don't need to worry about having to cycle that kind of stuff like it's a hardcore RPG or something like that. But no, the gunplay feels good. It's fun to play. I bounce back and forth between. I don't know why more games don't do this where like Battlefield has separate sensitivity inputs for mouse and controller, depending on which one you're using. They don't have that for Borderlands, so I can't swap between the two. I have because if I do, I have to rechange my sensitivity, and I could get around this by putting the sensitivity as I want it for a controller, and then going into my mouse computer settings and just adjusting my sensitivity levels appropriately in there. But the problem is like I don't want to do that. I like to keep my mouse sensitivity levels the same across all FPS games and then just change the FPS uh, sensitivity in each game application. And then that way I can easily micromanage it with the mouse. And I hate that I have to if I do it. So I don't do it that much. I just do mouse and keyboard. But yeah, it feels good. Like it's fun to play. Like I said, it's definitely a fun co-op game. I like a lot of the tweaks that they've done that just make it feel and play better. Like I said, the health, the healing, the heavy ordnance, and yeah, it's fun to do. And I like the character I picked. They're fun. It's interesting how each character now it's like you pick them, but they have like a couple different, like 3 different paths you can spec them to. So it's like instead of being like, oh, you're this guy with a turret in the first game in this game, or you're the Cybern with this. It's like, oh, it's like you're this, but you can pick like 3 different paths to be like, okay, this one, like my character Rafa, they're like an ex military guy for one of the corporations, and I can either do where my ability is like I get 2 sword arms, kind of like zero from two. And it's like, okay, I can get up in their melee, and that's like my ability to use whatever. And then I build it around that melee ability. Or I can have 2 turrets pop off the back of my suit, kind of like the darkness, and they just auto shoot at whatever, and I can build my skills around how well they perform, how I perform when that skill's activated. And there's another one where it's like I could put an extra gun in my left hand, so that way when I'm shooting my right hand, it shoots at the same time, and I could build skills around what that does. And same for like the big Viking dude, he can have like axes, he can do whatever. So you can kind of tweak it to like, okay, they have this, but then they have 3 play styles off their skills that you can build off of. So it's like it gives you a little more room to like experiment, and you can respec and do whatever. So I kind of like that, where it's like, yes, you're picking the siren, or you're picking more of the soldier character or the melee guy, but there's more customization what you could do. So you're not necessarily pigeonholed to one skill like in all the other games. So I kind of like that. It's fun. Yeah, I'm just fun time. Crossplay works well. No issues there. Yeah. Yeah, I know, like I said, people having a lot of PC issues. I'm just playing at 60 FPS, 1440p, high settings, DLSS quality, looks great. Yeah, it runs great. I haven't had any problems. So, uh, but yeah, I know people who want to play it like, you know, 1440, 144 FPS, they gotta change some stuff down. Uh, like, okay, so I'm sure there'll be some PC optimizations for it, but it got like, I know it was like it was like a really popular game on Steam, but then it got hit with like a bunch of mostly negative reviews because of performance. But a lot of people obviously they just want to play at really high frame rates, and I don't need that, so I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I'll just lock it at 60. That's what I play on console. But yeah, it's fun. Yeah, look forward to play more Silksong. Try to play that during the day, and then whenever my cousin can't play, I'll just do that.
You got to stream Silksong. I want to watch it.
I did. I streamed it the other day, and that's when I got like the first time I ran into the. I streamed when I got to that bug fight where I was telling where they had the rings, and then I got to the big bug we talked about that was annoying. Like that was that stream. I was like, oh man, I don't want the stream to just be me running back to the boss and fighting it. That's where I was telling you about the whatchamacallit, the weird Twitch thing where like it says my viewer count is lower than the people who are chatting, which is weird. I noticed it with someone else's stream as well, where they had a lot of people chatting, me included, but it was still saying 4, but there was more than 4 people who were active in the thing. So I'm like, I don't know, Twitch just it's getting weird the way it's calculating viewership. Like I know if you mute it counts that, but I think it must not be doing that now. If you're multi-tabbed, obviously it won't count if you're watching too many people at once, but I don't know, it's just weird. It'll be like, "Oh, you have 1 person there." I'm like, "Do I?" Because then I view the stats, I'm like, "These stats are wrong." Because I don't know how my active viewers could be higher or low, but my constant viewers are higher. Like, just I don't know, the way it calculates is weird. It's not reading properly, and I think that's just a display thing on the back end they gotta fix for whatever reason, but it's annoying. Anyways, not that it matters, just stream, who cares? But, I hate looking over and this is the worst because OBS updates the slowest, but I look at the Twitch manager on their website and like it'll be all weird. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why is it wrong? But I could see people. But then it's weird because like I'm just complaining about Twitch now. I'll have people talking or doing redemptions. Because like Andrea, she'll usually alert because she's playing games. Uh, Same with Dustin, a buddy of mine. But it'll say like 2, right? But then someone comes into chat and they start talking. Someone else, like a usual who comes in, will start talking, and then when they talk, then it goes from 2 to 4. Now it's counting the third person who's watching, and then it also counts them. And I'm like, why? Why is it like it's a weird rounding error where like it's not counting odd amount of views or something? Like, but then if someone else comes in and starts talking, it's like, okay, now it's like them talking makes Twitch refresh on the back end properly and capture everybody who's actively watching. I don't know. It bugs me. And you know what I mean? Like I don't know why. It just displaying incorrect information until someone else. That's why I was curious what it looked like to other people. But that's what I was talking to you usually. But then when I watched Clever stream, I was like, okay, I can see it happening on his end as well.
Twitch is just fucking weird with bots and things.
Well, they did a big
They're just
purge a
fucking
while
weird.
ago. I want to say in August they did a huge purge. It was like a big thing. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like purge the bots. I hate bots. Um, and like I haven't gotten that many like, hey, get viewers here kind of bots coming into chat. But I think when they did that, they screwed also their viewer calculating algorithm. I think maybe that's what happened.
Why
Like,
does it
but
need an algorithm? Just count the people that are viewing it.
I don't know, man. But it's like,
Right?
yeah, it it broke me. Like I don't know. It's weird. It
Like, I believe you. It's just like, it's one of those things that's like, why is this even an algorithm? Just fucking register and count it.
Well, yeah, because they I think it's like a way to because it's part of the bot, the counter uh like the countermeasures to bots, but I think it's also messing up calculations for like I think that's just what it's related to. But they're probably working on it, who knows. But yeah, it's just especially for people with lower viewership, like that's where you see the impact of it. We're like because then some people they're saying like some higher folks are saying like a third of their people like wouldn't show up in calculations even though they're active chatters, but whatever. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? But yeah, if I don't play tonight, I'll stream Silksong, and it won't be a spoiler for you because I know I've been watching some other people like they'll play Silksong. I'm like, oh well, they're further than I am, so I'm not going to watch them. I don't want to
Mhm.
spoil something for myself, so it's like a rough. And I'll tell them like, hey, can't watch. Don't want to spoil. See you later.
I know
It
that's
was
always
interesting.
rough with games like this because, like, I love watching them when they come out when it's like got the hype train behind it and everything, but I never want to actually spoil myself. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I look forward to playing the Liza P DLC eventually because it'll be like, okay, then maybe viewership will go up because I'm the only one playing. And I'll be like first time in the title or something like that. But now that you're further than me because you have more game time than I do, you'll always be ahead of me. And it's like also the first time I think the three of us have actually played the same game at the same time in quite a
Right?
while.
It's
Yeah, because I think
yeah.
yeah, it's been I can't remember the last game that we all played at the same time.
What was the last major big release?
Probably was close to
Expedition 33.
yeah, I guess Expedition that would have been we all played that one. Well, Zaya watched, right? You watched Michael play it?
No, I played it.
Oh, okay. For
Yeah.
some reason I thought you watched Michael play even or you watched Michael play Death Stranding. And then
Yeah.
but only you and me played Death Stranding at the time. Nisley didn't play it yet. Yeah, because then before that I think maybe it would have been Final Fantasy Remake
We
2.
did 15. We did
but
15 at the same time, I think.
well that's way back. I didn't play 15 until late, I don't think. But no, I think we all started Final Fantasy 2, whatever they called it, I forget now, but Rebirth. But I stopped.
I also stopped, so
Yeah. So I think at the start we all played it, and then yeah, I stopped at Castle de Sol, and then I got to go back at some point. But yeah, I can't remember the last game that we all played. That was before Clair Obscure.
I was like, I just told you it was Clear Obscure.
Well, yeah, but I just mean before that because that was like because it's rare. Like is what I'm saying. It's like it's not too frequent that we're all playing it. Usually it's at least two of us playing something, but.
Usually there's one outlier of the game just being too spooky or not the right vibe or
just busy with something else or like
yeah.
we're waiting. Yeah,
I feel like it's never you. It's either me or Zaya. It's either a game that's not my style or it's a game that's like too spooky for Zaya.
Or I'm back
or
on
it'll
my
be like
MMO bullshit.
Yeah.
Zaya watches someone play the game and then I play the game like with what was that post trauma? Like I've seen someone play it, but then I play it and then that's how we have things at the same time, like just witnessing and then also playing. That'll be the other method. But all right, well, we can go ahead and call it. It's gonna be long because we had a long talk about Silksong, which is good. It was funny. I had a comment on one of our episodes where someone's like, they stumbled upon the podcast on YouTube, which gets the least amount of views versus the podcast hosting apps where they get the most views. But they're like, yeah, stumbled upon this and listened to it, and then like, I like most stuff you talk about except for the Warhammers. Like, I wasn't really interested in it, but happy to hear about the enthusiasm. And I was like, I commented back, I was like, yeah, I usually don't talk about Warhammer a whole lot. And then I put in quotes, I say this as I'm editing the episode where I talk more about Warhammer again. It's just if I don't play a game, usually I'm doing Warhammer or something. And that's why I talk about the Warhammer. But I was going to talk more about something here, but we talked so much about Silksong and Borderlands. I'm like, I don't need to talk about this minor detail of Warhammer to extend the episode. But I'll talk more about that later because it is weird to play something that's not a video game that has patches that go out for it to change rules. So that's interesting. It's not like Magic the Gathering. Like Magic the Gathering didn't have patches.
I mean, D&D has that.
But D&D does. But this is like, oh, here's the new patch notes. Here's the new balance sheet update for this faction. Here's this rule. Here's a core change. And obviously they change with each edition. But it's like it's weird to see like, oh, here's the point cost or this thing changes. Like that's weird. Usually for the better. But I get that you have to balance it because there's tournaments and what have you. Yeah. But it is like they just did one. I'm like, okay, let's quickly review this to see if it changes anything about something I haven't actually played yet. I'm just building and painting. But it's interesting. Anyways, all right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. So thank you all for tuning in. Listen, thank you, Izzy. Thank you, Sai, for joining.
Yep.
And we'll see you all next time.
Later.